It's Sandra. Welcome to another episode of Asexualise. My asexual life is supposed to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual. I share my asexual life journey in order to help you. So subscribe and hit the bell icon. You never miss an episode then. So, have you ever been in a situation where you've been on a dating app, perhaps Facebook dating, and you don't understand where that person genuinely wants to be a friend to you? They genuinely like you as a friend, or it's a friends with benefits scenario, or they're not really that interested in you. So I got a question from one of my viewers here. Hello to them. And they asked me on a shorts video I did about Facebook dating, that Facebook dating now has a friendship tab. They were asking me, like, how do they know? How does anyone know if that person actually likes you as a friend? So in this video, that's what I'm going to go over today. First of all, if you didn't know who I am Sandra Bellamy, author of this best-selling Asexual Perspectives 47 Asexual Stories book. And this gives a lot of insights into asexuality from a love, life, and sex asexual point of view, with advice as well. You can get that on Amazon. So yeah, let's crack on. So you're on Facebook dating and you want to know if someone genuinely likes you as a friend, if they're looking for friendship. Or it could be Badoo. I'm on Badoo, for example. And it could be some other dating sites. Okay, so first of all, if it's called dating site or a dating app, it's unlikely that people are looking for genuine friendship on there, because someone actually said on their Badoo profile, like, who actually goes on a dating app just to look for a friendship? And I do think they've got a very good point, right? If I'm looking to make friends, just friends, not a relationship whatsoever, I would not go to a dating app to do it. I would not go to a dating website to do it unless that dating app and dating website really advertised that it's dating and friendship website, or you know what I mean, or the app did that, like dating, friendship, social networking, then I might do it. But think, like, if I'm looking for just friendships, I would be more likely looking in places like meetup.com group, or for a friendship site, or for friendship groups on Facebook, that type of thing. So I think people that are going on dating apps and dating sites, the majority of them, if they think they'll say they're looking for friends, and not actually just looking for a friendship. Or if they are, they're coming from a place of brokenness, trauma, and avoidant personality type. Because there are some people that have been really upset and in a lot of pain in past relationships, and they don't want a friendship. They don't want a relationship because of that. They just want a friendship. But the problem with this is they're coming from a very brokenness place inside them, a very trauma-based place. So it's going to be harder to have a healthy relationship, even as a friend with this person, than it is a person who's genuinely got other friends, or is just lacking in some friends because they've moved, etc. So you've got to be careful of the reasoning behind why someone would say they're looking for a friend on these sites, right? That's not to say there's no one that isn't genuinely looking for friendships on there. Maybe there are some people. But in my experience of Facebook dating, the majority of people are not looking for friendship only. They say they're looking for friendship, but they're actually looking for a relationship. They're looking for a partner. They say friendship, but the only ones that seem to be looking for friendship are ones that maybe are traveling and they want a travel buddy. But again, if you're looking for a travel buddy, like, a lot of people would use that to get into a relationship with someone. I mean, if you're spending a long time traveling with each other, one of you is going to develop feelings for the other usually. In my experience, and not just in my experience, in other people's experience who talk about dating relationships online, there's not that many relationships where one person doesn't have more feelings of friendship than the other person. Usually, one of the people, even in friendships, would have some sort of close friendships, I'm particularly talking about, would have some feelings of more than friendship than the other, right? Especially if they're heterosexual. It's unlikely that you're going to get a heterosexual that just wants to be a healthy friend to you, right? Because in the end, they will probably get a partner. And a lot of the time with heterosexuals, their romantic partner would take preference and priority. And obviously, they will have a different life then. If they get married and kids with this person, they'll develop their own friendship group and stuff like that within that couple dynamic. And so it's not going to be the same type of dynamic friendship anymore. And also, most people who are looking for friends who are heterosexuals, they are actually looking for a friends with benefits scenario, whether that's emotional benefits or sexual benefits or both, right? They're not usually looking for just a friendship, as in they just want to make connections and they want it to be equal. So you've got to bear all this in mind when you're going to dating apps and dating sites, to think, like, what is the motive behind why they saying they want a friendship on a dating app or dating site, right? You can get some who say they're just looking for friendship, but a lot of those that I found, it's like they might have just got out of a relationship. There was someone I met, I can't remember if it's on Facebook dating, I think it was, and they said that they're just looking for friendship because they've just come out of a relationship. Yeah, that's right, it's Facebook dating. And I think they've been out of the relationship like 3 months or something. And I think it was 3 months, but they've been out of a relationship for a while anyway. And they just were looking for friends because they didn't want anything more. And I specifically was looking for a relationship on Facebook dating. So some signs to look out for that someone might just want to be your friend is like that guy verbalizing, I'm just looking for a friend. So if someone's actually saying in their bio friendship, for example, on Facebook dating, they haven't got anything else like casual, something casual, because something casual usually means friends with benefits. And on Facebook dating and traditional dating websites and traditional dating apps, a friendship isn't the same type of thing usually as an asexual friendship. If a person is on an asexual dating app, a lot of asexuals, they don't experience attraction, or they experience platonic attraction or other attractions. um and a lot of asexuals, for example, on the aromantic spectrum, they don't experience romantic attraction. They do genuinely want just friends. They don't actually want to be in a relationship. So they're coming from a different angle entirely. Most heterosexuals want a relationship with either kissing, romance, and sex in it, usually the whole lot, right? So most of their subconscious programming is to be in a relationship. It's not to actually just have a friend. And the only time they would usually just have friends is if they're gone off dating, gone off, like they're put off by it. They're not in a good headspace with it. They've had their heart broken. They don't want that again. Or they're too busy focused on their career, and they just don't, they want a connection with someone, but they don't want to put the time, energy, and effort into a committed relationship. So you've got to think to yourself, why are these people looking for friendship, right? On a dating app. Bear in mind, we're saying dating app here, right? It doesn't, Facebook dating doesn't advertise its, I'm a Facebook dating and friendship app. It advertises itself as Facebook dating. That's what it's called. So you've got to bear that in mind. But anyway, in the bio, if it says friendship, it's not got looking for a relationship, it's not got looking for chat. Well, chat could be just a friendship. If it's got chat and friendship, then you could say that that might just be a friendship. But if they got anything about a relationship or something casual, yet they're still saying they're looking for a friend, I would not believe them. Someone who's looking for something casual is a casual relationship. And if you're looking for a casual friendship, why would you want to bother with that person in the first place if all they want is something casual? You want them to take you seriously and put time, energy, effort into the friendship if you want to get a healthy, committed friendship, right? You don't want someone who just wants casual friendships. Otherwise, you may as well just go to a meetup group and meet up with people. Like, I go to meetup.com groups, 20s to 30s groups, and yeah, I don't see them out usually outside of the meetups. There's one guy I'm friends, or actually I think there's 2 or 3 guys I've become friends with on Facebook outside of that, but I don't usually see them outside of that. So it's basically they're more like acquaintance friends, that I'm socializing with. I didn't meet them for a dating app, I met them through meetup.com. Right. And so I'd urge you and encourage you, if you're just looking for friends, to go to meetup.com groups, because they're much better for looking for friendships, because people want to socialize, make friends at these events. That's kind of the whole point. They want to get out, be around people, make some acquaintances, make some friends, maybe. But even then, some of these groups can just be like more formal acquaintances, socializing acquaintances, not actually genuine friend connections as such. Right. So you've got to understand, like, what's the background of the person? What are they thinking? What environment am I meeting them at or in? And I do feel that most people are on dating apps and dating sites, they're not looking for friendship unless they've got some trauma or something gone on in a previous relationship where they just like, I don't want to be in a relationship anymore, but they still want an emotional connection with someone, right? So think about these things. So anyway, signs to look out for, they may just want to be friends with you. Possibly is they put in their bio friendship. That's their main thing. They write actually just looking for friends in their bio. And when they talk to you, if you're asking questions, they'll say, I'm just looking for a friend. They'll verbalize it, right? Someone who's just really looking for a friendship will verbalize that because they want you to know for definite that it's nothing ambiguous going on. They just want you as a friend. So they will verbalize that, right? And so that's very important. If they don't verbalize it, it's more ambiguous, right? So anyway, I personally like I said, there was one guy on Facebook dating, and he said he's just looking for friends. He's not looking for a relationship. I don't believe he's never looking for a relationship. I just believe, like he said, he split up with someone, his heart was broken, basically. So that's why he's just looking for friends. And I could tell when I was asking him some questions just to try and get to know him as a friend, and he didn't really want to answer them, and that's when he started saying, I'm just looking for a friend. Like, if a person can't open up to you about themselves, then they're not going to make a very good friend. So in order to assess whether they're going to be liking you even as a friend, as a basic, they would need to be asking you questions about yourself. They need to be revealing things about themselves with ease. If you ask them questions, they need to be open and honest. They would be asking you about your hobbies and interests. They wouldn't be asking you relationship questions. So if someone's asking you relationship questions like, do you want marriage? Do you want kids? What do you think about sex? Do you like kissing? Do you like romance? Maybe saying quite quickly they want to come and see you. All these are questions that it implies they want a relationship or friends with benefits or to come and hook up with you. They're not friendship stuff if they're talking about romance, kissing, meeting up, sex, and they're asking like relationship type questions. A person that's just interested in friendship would be more talking about hobbies and interests. Like, say you put in your profile, I play video games, they'd be like, oh, cool, I play video games, like what video games do you play and stuff like this. But you have to understand that all the best relationships start as a friendship. So some people who are online will ask it some identical questions to if they're thinking about being a friend with you to if they're thinking about being in a relationship with you. Like I will ask someone like, what work do you do? And that is a question I would ask someone if I'm interested in them romantically or interested in them as a friend. I would ask like, movies and music do you watch if I'm trying to be friends with them? But I would also be keen to know that in a romantic way as well, because maybe they've got love songs they like and stuff. You know what I mean? So the conversation might start off the same. Choose whether they're looking for a friendship with you or they're looking for a potential relationship with you. It's only after a period of time sometimes that you find out that one person or both people are looking for more. But if you go on Facebook dating, they've got friendship they're looking for, but straight away they start talking about you in a relationship where they like, oh, I like your smile. I like your lips. I like your appearance. I like your look. You've got a pretty face. You look really cute. These are all types of things you would say to someone you're attracted to for a relationship. You wouldn't go around saying to someone you just want a friendship with, oh, I think you're cute. I think you're hot. I think you're pretty. The person wouldn't be commenting on your looks because they wouldn't be thinking about your looks, because they'd be thinking about your personality and you as a person and your hobbies and interests. They wouldn't be talking and asking you questions based on anything to do with a relationship, because if they're genuinely not interested in a relationship with you, it wouldn't really figure in their brain because they're not thinking that way about you. So you can tell the difference between that very quickly sometimes on Facebook dating. Like, I've met a load of guys on there that say that about friendship, but straight away they start talking about like my looks, and straight away they talk about coming to see me and stuff like that. And it's kind of like obvious that they're not just looking for friendship. And I do actually sometimes go on there. I'm taking a break from Facebook dating as of several hours, well, a number of hours ago, because I'm pissed off with it, excuse my language, because I just keep getting people who lie on there to me. I had a guy last night connected with me on Facebook. You might have seen my shorts video about this. And in his profile, it said he was married, so he connected me on his main Facebook. It was his idea in Messenger. I looked through his profile, I was talking to him for a while, and then realised that he's just a liar. He was lying, saying he could live without sex as well. I hate guys who lie. I can't stand it. And unfortunately, through Facebook dating, I'm not getting many good quality guys at all, if any. The majority of them are just after sex and lying to get what they want. I really am not happy being on there. I feel like not even dating at all anymore, to be honest with you, at the moment. I'm still on Badoo because my popularity is high, and I think if I deactivate my account or go low, maybe it doesn't really matter. But obviously I'm doing my dating channel now, so I kind of feel like I need to be in dating, but I kind of feel like I need a break as well because I'm just so fed up with the quality guys is like rubbish on there, you know what I mean? As in they're just looking to hook up. A lot of the guys that are on dating sites, I'm not saying this isn't true for women as well, but I come from a female perspective talking about guys. A lot of the guys that I'm finding on traditional dating apps and Badoo, which has like LGBT people on there sometimes as well, including asexuals, that a lot of them are coming from a place of like they're brokenhearted, they're avoiding a real relationship, avoiding commitment. They just want hookups. If I put my filters on Badoo for looking for an actual relationship, I get usually less than 10 people come through. I get more if I put it like I put usually like an age group up to a maximum of 32. I'm really, even that's a bit old for me, but because I like guys in their 20s. But I did the other day change my filters to older, and it was and I was getting more people through for a relationship, but it's just they're not my type anyway, you know. I just look and just think you're too old for me. Because that's because I like younger guys. They're not going to be too old for someone else. Um, and so yeah, it's very difficult. And like I said, you know, someone on their Badoo profile even said, like, come on, you're looking for friendship on a dating app? Like, who looks for friendship on a dating app? Question mark. Of course you don't, like, you know. And I think that person has got a real point. You know, I've seen people on Facebook dating, they say they're in a relationship with a partner, yet they're looking for friends and they're on a dating app. And I just don't want to get involved with that because I don't believe that's true. If they are having a relationship and they're happy in their relationship, why would they go on a dating site and dating app for finding friends? They could go to meetup.com groups and socialize like that. You know what I mean? There's absolutely no need for them to be on a dating site. For me, it's like they're lining another person up to potentially cheat with them. And so if their main relationship doesn't work out, they've got someone in the background as a backup for them, like a backup disc or something, you know, and I don't get involved in them. So obviously, you know, if you're just looking for friendship, you could go on Facebook dating and you can find there are a few people like this that, oh, I'm in a relationship, I'm taken, but I'm looking for friendship. I don't believe those people. Like when I've been in a relationship in the past, I'm not going on dating apps looking for a friend. Right. And there's people on Facebook dating groups, you know, like just sorry, rather than Facebook dating itself, there's people in Facebook groups which are dating groups on Facebook. And again, they're in a serious committed relationship. They're in dating groups. Why? Because they're cheating usually. You know, you find in the profile they're married and they're still chatting me up in the inbox going, hi. You know, it's like, I'm not interested. I'm not interested in cheaters, liars, manipulators, people who do things for their own personal gain. I just get absolutely sick of these people. It's like, what are you doing with your life? You're just wasting it away. You're wasting my time. You're wasting your time. And, you know, are you going to look back on your deathbed and think, oh, I was such a great person. I love myself. If you're doing that, no. You're going to be thinking, like, what the hell did I do with my life? Right. Was if you changed yourself into becoming a healthier person, then you could actually have a loving, caring, intimate, committed relationship. Yes, it's damn scary, but it's better to do that than just waste your life away being an unhealthy person who's just avoiding real intimacy and just can't even accept real true love because they don't even love themselves. You know what I mean? It's just crazy. A lot of the time people are like, oh, I've seen it in asexual groups as well as with heterosexuals, right? They're like, oh, I feel so unworthy. No one loves me. Right, okay, I've seen these guys who do this, and then when they get love, real love, they push it away. and they would rather stay in the victim mindset and mentality of I can't get anyone, I'm unworthy, than actually appreciating and valuing a person who just genuinely love them or genuinely care about them. I've seen this, like I had this in one of my asexual groups. This guy was in one of my groups and he was like, he had a woman that would, I could tell she had feelings for him. She would come in the group and she would answer his messages. And also, I used to be friends with him and she would always be there for him and they got on really well, right? And when he first came in my group, one of my dating groups, he was like, oh, I can't get anyone, no one loves me. Oh, I'm going to be on my own forever, right? And when she showed genuinely interest in him, he's like, oh, I can't meet up with her. Like if I was moving, I'd move somewhere else, not to her. And I can't video call her because I don't know what I'm doing. It's just excuses and crap. It's just excuses and crap to carry on being basically a shit person who's like plays victim and doesn't even bother to change themselves. I'm not saying that genuinely no victims. There are victims of trauma. There are victims of crimes. There are victims of abuse. What I'm saying is it's up to us as people to try and change ourselves to become a better version of ourselves by actually dealing with our traumas as much as possible, by exploring them and trying to overcome the difficulties that those traumas and abuse and things that happen to us, right? It's not our responsibility who abused us, who caused us trauma, who caused us heartache and pain. That's on them, not on us. But it's up to us to try and work through those emotions, work through those traumas, work through those griefs, not suppress and repress. And it's up to us to try to become better people in the process, right? That I'm coming across a lot of people that instead of changing themselves, they're going, oh, I'm worthless and useless, and instead of changing themselves to become a better person and appreciating the people that come into their lives that genuinely care about them, genuinely love them, genuinely feel compassion for them, instead they're pushing those people away and they'd rather carry on avoiding real intimacy and being in connections where someone's emotionally unavailable or that person doesn't really care about them. I've seen this in friendships, not just in relationships. I've seen it a lot, and so you need to get into the mindset of appreciation, get into the mindset of gratitude for what you do have. I mean, a lot of people do actually have someone in their life that is attracted to them, that would like a relationship with them, but they're right under their nose and they can't even see it. And sometimes that is often a friend. Their friend is like is more feeling more than friendship for you or something, you know what I mean? And they just don't see it, and they'd rather be with some unavailable person that they can't actually have than a serious committed relationship because it scares the hell out of them. It is scary. Like you're most vulnerable and intimate in a relationship, and you're gonna have to work through traumas because otherwise they're going to impact the relationship. And it's traumas that are constantly being worked throughout your life. You're not going to be like usually completely healed when you get into a relationship with someone, but you have to start the process and do some, you know what I mean, so that you can be good and healthy for each other. So bear in mind, if someone says they want to be friends, you have to ask yourself, is this going to be healthy friendship? Like, so if someone genuinely wants to be your friend in a healthy way, they will ask you questions about yourself. They will take a deep interest in you and your life. They will want, they will want to know what makes you happy, what you like and what you dislike. They will talk about shared hobbies and interests. They will listen to your point of view. You will listen to their point of view. There might be something that crops up in both of your lives and you'll share that with each other and you'll give them each other empathy and sympathy. You might have like chats about things like, I don't know, like games or movies or things that happen in your life, situations that crop up. You'll be there to support each other, and it will feel like both people want to carry on the conversation. Both people want to be interested. Usually in healthy friendships, someone's like gonna leave a conversation and they're respectful, then they'll say, oh, I've got to go to bed now, I've got to go and do some work now, I've got to go off, if they're having a flowing conversation. There's something that really annoys me when a guy might talk to me and then he just goes off and doesn't finish a conversation. He doesn't say, oh, look, I've got to go and do my work now, I've got to do study now, I've got to go and do this now. He'll just stop the conversation in mid-flow, and it's like, am I talking to myself? Like, it's like if you're in a room of people and you were talking to someone, would you just stop the conversation and walk off without saying anything? Like mid-flow, like, you know what I mean? You just wouldn't do it. It'd be so rude and disrespectful. So why do people do it online? You should treat that online space a bit like your home, like someone's coming into your home, you're letting them into a room, you're having a chat, you end the chat, and then you go. Obviously, if you're working, sometimes you can't do it, but even when I was working, like, you can say, "Oh, I'm finishing my lunch break now, catch you later," or "Going back to work now, catch you later." It's not always possible because sometimes you get called back to work quicker and stuff like this, but there's usually patterns you can detect in people. Like, if someone wants a genuine friendship, you'll usually be able to see patterns of how often they communicate with you, what they say in those communications. They'll be very consistent and persistent at the same types of conversations, usually saying the same or similar types of things. They'll message you at similar type of times if they genuinely want to keep the friendship going. And someone who genuinely wants to be your friend, obviously it depends on the degree of friendship they want, whether it's more of a casual acquaintance or a genuine friend. If it's a genuine friend, you'll make plans to, like, meet up together. Like, maybe it's once a week, maybe it's twice a month, maybe it's just once a month. Maybe you're a more distant friend who only meets once every 3 months. So you've got to obviously establish what type of friendship it is as well. Um, but online, you're looking for things where people are not discussing anything with you that be geared towards a relationship if they're just looking for friendship. But I would argue that most people on dating sites and dating apps and websites for dating are not actually looking for just friendship. Obviously, if it's asexuals, it's different. But if it's in the main heterosexuals, they're looking for usually a friends with benefits scenario. Not many heterosexuals, in my experience, have a main primary partner and then have friends as well of the opposite sex, for example. It does happen. There are some people that do. But usually I think most of the time they tend to fall by the wayside more for their primary relationship. And if they end up in couples, they more like see each other's in couples. But like, I come from a background where I like Indian guys, some Indian guys do have female friends. But I think, for example, if they had me as a friend and if they got a primary partner, I don't think they talk as much to me anymore unless they had an emotional connection with me or unless they had some attraction for me anyway. I think it would be more centered around their prime partner. If they were happy with the prime partner, most of the guys that talk to me that are Indian who are in a relationship are ones that are not actually satisfied with their relationship and they're chatting me up. So you've got to understand the people's motives behind it. Like, there are people that do keep their friends whilst they've got a relationship as well, and that can work out, but I still know, and you've got to understand that they're going to spend more time with their primary partner, which is going to be less time for you in a friendship. That just goes without saying. There's only so many hours in the day. And if a person's splitting themselves amongst different friends as well as you, then they're going to, like, they're still going to have more time taken up with their primary partner. But it's healthy. In a healthy relationship, a person would usually see their primary partner, have date nights with them each week, even in a serious committed relationship for a long time. They'd have quality time every week with that person, and they'd have days usually set aside each week, and they'd be, in a healthy relationship. We're not talking about people who are avoidant, people who don't want to make plans and all this lot, which is casual shit. We're talking about genuine connection, friendship. They'll be making plans, in an actual healthy relationship. They'll be making plans with you, and they'll also be making plans with their friends, but they'll be like asking you, like, what's good for you this week to meet up? And they'll be like, oh, I need to see my friends, so I'm going to meet up with them this time. So they've been making time for their friends, themselves, their family, and of course, you as their primary partner, right? If a person is just making time for their friends and they're not making any time for their primary partner, that is wrong. And again, if they're doing is making time for their primary partner and they're not spending any time with their friends, that's not going to be good either or healthy. So you've got to get a balance. But the things that they talk about in terms of friendship, they're not going to be discussing like your looks in if they're interested in you just as a friend. They're not really going to be making future plans in terms of romance with you. They're probably going to want to do more non-romantic things with you. Like playing video games isn't really romantic, but I know a lot of asexuals that like video games, and that's a big part of what they want in a relationship. Even if they're romantic, they like, like the person needs to be a video game player because that's their hobbies and interests. And because asexuals don't have sex, then their hobbies and interests becomes a vital part of what keeps a relationship together, really. The commonalities, the common interests, the sharing of hobbies and interests. So you've got to understand that the asexual mindset, and in terms of what they want in a relationship, and the sexual mindset is two different things. A sexual person won't be so focused on hobbies and interests with the other person. It won't be such a vital part of their relationship. If they experience sexual attraction, it'll be more like they want sex, kissing, then watch TV or something. Whereas a asexual person, it'd be like, hang on a minute, like say you like going to a convention, which is a superhero convention, right? And you like to go there every single year. You're probably, and especially if you go to a lot of conventions like anime conventions and Star Wars conventions, Star Trek's conventions, and and then you're going to superhero like Marvel conventions, all this. If you're a convention type of person, you're probably going to want to meet someone, if you're asexual, who's into conventions. Doesn't mean to say heterosexuals aren't, but it'll be like a primary thing for an asexual person. It'll be a main focus for them because that's what they love to do. Like I said, there's a lot of asexuals that like gaming. One of the things I look for in a relationship is to have a game as someone who can do gaming with them if they want to like have more intimacy, because someone who's asexual who's a gamer, one of the ways they'll get intimacy is by doing gaming with their favorite person, playing their favorite game. So whatever their favorite game is, if they're playing a lot of their favorite games, they're already feeling really good about themselves and about the game, unless they've got some sort of addiction, which means if they lose that they really start getting angry and stuff. But if they really enjoy playing the games and they don't mind so much losing or winning, that game will become a feature of the relationship, and they'll look for another gamer, and there'll be a form of intimacy when they're sharing their favorite games with each other and they're playing those games with each other. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because it's intimacy. Asexual intimacy is very different to the heterosexual intimacy in terms of focus. Like a heterosexual intimacy, well, their intimacy is really physicality. It's like sex acts, touching sexually. That's a lot of their physical intimacy. As asexuals are not focused on sex and sex acts in general, we look for more hobbies and interests and things like that, commonalities. Like if you are into really reading a lot of books, maybe as an asexual person, it's really important that the person you get into a relationship with loves books and that you can chat about books together, right? Obviously, you've got book clubs. You don't have to find someone who's suitable for a relationship in terms of needing books, but maybe that's a big thing to you. And it is something that you really need. A lot of asexuals into horror. I personally can't stand horror. But that's usually a criteria that they want someone to watch horror movies with them because they enjoy horror movies. They want to enjoy that thing with a person. When you're doing something and you're doing something you enjoy with another person, it creates intimacy. And of course, you can have intimacy in friendships as well. You've just got to bear in mind that people have different levels of attraction, and the intimacy can turn into attraction, or the intimacy can be attractive or can cause attraction for some people. So you know what I mean? Because the more intimate you are, even with friends, the more attraction you can have because you're feeling drawn to that person more and more. So you can actually have intimacy and be drawn to a lot of people. You can be attracted to a lot of people. Then you've got to make your mind up who you actually want to be in a relationship with, right? If you're a hyper romantic like me, it's just a flaming nightmare because it's like I end up with attractions for like a lot of my male friends that I'm close to, and it's like I really don't want this. I'd rather just feel friendship, but it don't happen. I mean, it happens like I feel more than a friendship for them than relationship feelings or attraction feelings, but it's really hard. So for me personally, if I'm in a friendship, I like someone that I can go to the cinema with, out for meals, theme parks, zoos, aquariums. That's ideal. But because I self date a lot and I can do those things myself, it's not really essential. Because like I do a lot of that stuff on my own, and excuse me, I do a lot of that stuff on my own, and also I don't need someone to do that with. I can do it all on my own. I'm used to doing it on my own. But I would do those things with friends, but also I like doing those things in a romantic relationship, and probably even more so in a romantic relationship because they're my core things I love to do. Then I would like, I'm doing them on my own all the time. If I got into a relationship with someone who didn't like to do those things, that would be quite difficult for me because I want to be able to like go around theme parks, like waiting in queues and kissing the person rather than being on my own just away from the person. That would be nice. And it'd be nice to kiss around aquariums and stuff because I was used to doing that in one of my previous relationships, and I loved that part of the relationship a lot. And to have less than that, it seems weird. But I am, if someone like doesn't like one of those five things, so say they like don't mind going to aquariums and theme parks, eating out at cinema, but they hate aquariums or something, it's not the end of the world. Or if they hate zoos, it's not the end of the world. Like I could probably still be with them, but I do love doing those type of things with friends. But yeah, I mean, if my primary partner didn't want to do them, I've still got friends that would do that type of thing with me. Actually, theme parks at the moment, I don't have anyone to go to theme parks with at the moment but myself. But that's okay. I can, there might be someone, one of my friends somewhere. but they're spread around, so yeah. So friendship is very much, if you understand, focus on hobbies, interests, getting to know you as a person, not talking about like sex, marriage, kids. They might want to know though, if like your future plans. So even if I'm looking for a friend, like say on Facebook dating, and I do approach a guy for friendship, which with me is not really totally just friendship. But if I did approach a guy for friendship, I still want to know that he's going to be in this country for some time, because if I make friends with him and like he's leaving the country in a year's time, it's going to be harder for me. I'd rather have someone who's actually going to be in the UK for a long time as a friend, because I personally do get attached to people, even friends. And I don't, it's not nice when those friends go to another country and it's kind of like they leave the friendship really then. And I know some people can stay friends, but it's like the people that, like, one person I was friends with, they decided they didn't want to be friends with me when they went back to their own country because they don't like doing that. And another person who used to be my best friend, we still got a bond, but I don't hear from her that often. So she moved to Turkey. So, it's like a different life. And they make different friends and stuff, which is normal. People move on, but personally, because I don't particularly like change, I would rather have some friends that like staying, like that I know that I'm not going to have to say goodbye to and sob my heart out to, basically, you know what I mean? Because I do value my friends a lot. And so look out for these type of things, and remember that if they are people on dating sites and dating apps looking for friendship because they have been heartbroken, and if they've been heartbroken, it's going to be difficult, because one, they're probably not going to want a relationship, but you might develop feelings for them anyway. And two, if you do end up having feelings for each other, they might not be in a very good headspace to actually be in a relationship with you, because they're still kind of pining after someone else. They're still feeling heartbroken. They're feeling less trusting, probably. Their mind is like all over the place. They're not settled. And you want to find people for a friendship or a relationship, right? That's very, no one's going to be, a lot of the time, most people aren't completely healthy, in the sense that they do have past traumas and stuff going on in their childhood. But you need to be finding someone who's as healthy as they can be, who's been working on themselves, who's into like personal development, self-development, interested in improving themselves and improving their life. They see that things are maybe not quite right with them or right with their life, and they're like, hang on a minute, how can I be a better version of me? How can I, change myself to develop and grow myself into a better human being? And if someone's not really engrossed in, like, got interests and hobbies, and they're very much like neglecting themselves, they're not really in a very good headspace, they're not going to be in a very good space to look after you as a friend, to take care of you. You want a friend or a relationship person, someone who's going to look after your heart, emotions, someone who's going to have boundaries. That's another thing I haven't really talked about: boundaries. So there should be boundaries between you and that person who's just looking for a friendship, right? Like, my boundaries as an asexual person is I don't kiss my friends, I don't cuddle my friends, and I'm not going to hold hands with my friends, right? Because they're my friends. I'm not going to do those romantic things with my friends. There has to be some boundaries. There has to be some difference between what's a friendship to you and what's a relationship to you. They don't have to be the same as my boundaries, but you have to have boundaries, and those boundaries should be compatible with the person, whether it's a friendship or relationship. So for example, if someone wants a friendship with you but they just think that they can come round to your home whenever they feel like it, right? That's not going to be good for you, right? Unless you're the type of person that, oh, you happen to live up the road, my door's always open, come on in, I love it when friends drop in. If you're that type of person, that's fine, because you'll have compatible boundaries. But me personally, I don't usually have guys in my flat, right? So that's I don't usually have it in a relationship or romantic scenario. And I have my best friend, and he comes in my flat, but I've known him for years, and he didn't come into my home for like quite a few years before, I had to know him, I think at least 3 years before I would allow him in my home. And my best female friend who moved to Turkey, she never ever came in my home, and she's female, and I don't like people just dropping into my home. I don't like unexpected guests. I don't like people turning up on my doorstep. I don't like that at all. I like everything usually within reason to be structured, to be planned in advance. And this is another thing, right? Is that person respecting you? Are they respecting your boundaries? Are they respecting your time? Are they respecting your energy? Are they respecting your effort? if you are the one, whether it's a friendship or a relationship, but say even just as a friendship, if you're the one that's messaging them more, if you're the one asking them questions about themselves more, they barely ask you anything about yourself. If you're the one who's there for them when they're upset or in pain, but it's not reciprocated, that's not a true, genuine friendship. Right? Someone who's genuine friends, they will be there to ask you, like, if you've had a bad day, they'll be like, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Like, I hope you feel better. And they might start talking to you and having a conversation with you, if all it's doing is you are the one saying, oh, really, you're trying to put all the time and energy effort into helping them with them, maybe their work or their hobbies or their interests, maybe they've had some issues going on and you're there for them, but when the going gets tough, they don't even offer to help you. They're not even interested in helping you. They're not even interested really in talking about your difficulties. Maybe they cut you off, they shut the conversation off, all this type of thing. This is not genuine friendship. This is just a really unhealthy connection where it's one-sided and the person is out for themselves. Maybe they don't think they're out for themselves. Maybe they're not saying they're out for themselves, but they are out for themselves if all they're doing is basically taking your time, energy, and effort up, but they're not actually giving anything back to you, right? They're draining your energy. They are not even engaging with you in conversation. Like some people, like they might say two sentences and you've like spent done 3 paragraphs or something writing like stuff out, like to get into conversations with them, or maybe like they've said a couple of lines and you want to write a lot back. And someone who says something like, oh, you write a lot, don't you? That's not going to be a suitable friendship for you because they begrudge you writing a lot to them. They're not welcoming. They don't think, oh, I'm so glad you took the time out of your day to message me. That's really kind of you. Someone who's ungrateful, never says please, never says thank you. Someone who doesn't apologize is not a true friend. If someone hurts your feelings, they should be saying, look, I'm sorry I hurt your feelings. Not, I'm sorry you got hurt. I'm sorry you feel hurt. I'm sorry you're oversensitive. This is narcissistic stuff, right? The person who's genuinely upset you to say, I'm really sorry I upset your feelings, because if someone cares about you, they would say that, right? And if someone's behavior is not acceptable to you, you talk to them about it, depending what it is. Obviously, if they've done abusive stuff, like tried to like have sex with you when you don't want it, you just leave that situation, right? But if they've done some behavior you don't like, you have to speak to them openly, honestly, and say, when you did this, I felt this. Like when you like say, for example, the turn up on the doorstep. When you turned up on my doorstep, I felt uneasy because I'm not used to having strangers just turn up at my home, or I'm not used to having people I don't know very much turn up at my home. And I might be in the toilet, I might be in the shower, it might be inappropriately dressed and stuff like that. And it's not really a good idea to do that. Please phone me before or text me before, and I'll let you know if it's convenient for you to come around, right? I'm not comfortable with you just turning up, this type of thing. So you'd address the behavior. And if they still turn up again, then you know that they are not respecting you. They're not respecting your boundaries. They don't really care about you. They're just out for themselves, right? As someone who genuinely cares about your friend as a friend, and even getting to know you as a friend, you'll experience like flowing conversation somewhat, but they want to take an interest in you and your hobbies and your interests, and they will want to have good behavior with you. They want to respect you. Any kind of healthy friendship or relationships is based on mutual respect, time, energy, and effort put in. It's based on caring about the other person, being thoughtful with the other person. This is what we're talking about healthy. There's lots of people that are having unhealthy friendships or relationships, right? You don't want to have something unhealthy. So look out for all these signs. If you're on Facebook dating and you're putting a lot more time, energy, effort, and if they're not revealing anything about themselves, this is a huge red flag, right? Someone who's not a good person will be very closed off. They won't want you to know much about them, so you can't actually connect with them. You can't be a true friend if all they're doing is saying, "Oh yeah, I play basketball and I go to, and I work in Tesco's." And you're like, "Okay, like what work do you do in Tesco? Like why do you like basketball? Like what's it about basketball you love?" "I just love it. I just work in Tesco." I mean, you can't have a true friendship with someone who's just giving you these really short, blunt answers. Someone who wants a true friendship will open up. They'll have an actual flowing conversation. They'll be talking to you like an adult. Like, you wouldn't walk into a room and someone's like, what I mean, and give blunt answers. If you do, people would just be like, okay, I clearly can't talk to that person. You need to be able to talk to people in any type of friendship or relationship. You need to be able to deal with conflicts, difficult scenarios, difficult situations. You need to be able to talk about it, both sides, air their points of view. Doesn't mean to say you're going to agree, because sometimes you'll disagree. And so, you have to listen to the person's words and actions. If they say, I care about you, but none of their actions actually indicate they do, then they don't actually care about you. If someone says, I want a friendship with you, but they're not really asking you any questions about yourself, they're not getting to know you as a person. They're not making any plans to see you or speak to you, or you don't know where you are with them. This is not a good thing, right? There should be nothing ambiguous about that friendship or relationship. There should be nothing going forward that's ambiguous. You should know, I'm looking for a friend, right? So they say the word friend, right? And then they're trying to get to know you, and they're trying to find out things about you. You're trying to find out things about them. You're trying to come to some sort of mutual ground. This is like what a true friendship is. A bad friendship, an unhealthy friendship, is when you're talking. It's like they don't want to answer your questions. They're offhand with you. They're irritable with you. They've got their guard up. If you want to spend time with them, it's like it's a chore for them to spend time with you. They get irritable about spending time. They'd rather be doing other things than seeing you. This is not a true friendship. It's not someone who really wants you as a friend, right? I I like to schedule things. Not everyone's a scheduler, not everyone's a planner. Some people are spontaneous. But if you are coming together as two different people, you have to work together, right? So if there's a spontaneous person and a planner, you kind of would have to have some part of the friendship or relationship that is planning. So you got quality planned time together. Then you'd have to have another part of the friendship allowing for some spontaneity, so you can both be yourselves, right? You have to accommodate each other. You can't have a true friendship if no one's actually taken any action to meet up with each other, or video call each other, or chat to each other on the phone. If you're just a friend, like Facebook friends, like how many Facebook friends do you have where people just don't talk to you? They're not genuine friends, right? They're just connections online. So I think that's why it's difficult these days, because there's so many social medias that are let's be friends, but that's not a true friendship. I think friendship, like, a lot of the time, has lost its way a bit because of that, because people nowadays associate the word friend with such a casual acquaintance thing, like on Facebook. They don't know the true meaning of friendship. The true meaning of friendship is when you respect each other, you value each other, you want to get to know each other, you want to take an active interest in that person's life to a certain extent. I think if you're romantically interested in someone, you'd want to take an interest in that person even more. You probably want to be in their life daily, usually. I mean, at least once a day if it's romantically inclined. But I mean, I've got a best friend, and we're in each other's lives usually every day. We're messaging each other every day, and they're really close to me. They're my bestest friend, and they're amazing. We don't actually live in the same place. They travel a long way to see me, and they're incredible. They do my food shopping stuff for me when I'm in pain, and they're awesome. And so that is a real true best friend. And healthy friendship and healthy relationship, whether it's a romantic relationship or a friendship, you will have heal together, what they call heal together. So if you're on the process of dealing with your childhood trauma, for example, and traumas that have happened in your life, and you're going through a process of healing, the way you'll heal is by being self-reliant, but also healing through healthy, secured connections to others. Right? Some people think healing is a solo activity. You go away, you reflect, and you be on your own. That's not healing. People need people. People need human connection. But you've got to need it in a healthy way. A need as in a normal need, not as in a need like I cannot live without anyone. I'm going to die if I don't have anyone around me, and I can't be on my own ever. That's not healthy. A healthy person, someone who's recovering from childhood trauma, for example, they will be like, okay, like I'm spending some time on my own, and then I'm spending some time talking to other people in a secure way. So a secure friendship would be, where you stand with the person, they're there for you. You don't think, oh, are they going to just leave my life one day? Um, they care about you as well as you caring about them. They care about your welfare, your well-being, your physical, emotional well-being. Like even friends need to take care of each other's hearts to a degree, you know and need to be respectful of each other. And they, like if you've said something about behavior, then they shouldn't be going around doing that behavior again to make you upset. They should care about your feelings and stuff. So always look out for this type of thing. Obviously, when you're making friends online, you don't really know the person. It's much better at some point to have audio calls, video calls with person. I always recommend video calls with someone you haven't met in person before, because you can't really tell what someone's like until you have a video call. If someone's on a video call with you and they're looking the other way the whole time, they're not really interested in you. Like if you're talking to them and they're busy typing and chatting to other people, it's just like they're bored with you, to be quite honest. Like, I mean, some people who are autistic do find this hard. They find it hard to concentrate on one person, and they might be typing away and stuff like this, but it's still quite rude for the recipient, and it's still like their focus is not on you. So you obviously have to bear in mind, like, are they autistic and stuff like that, which if someone's autistic, there are certain things, the behaviors they might have that's not particularly what a normal healthy relationship would look like. And it's, can you work with those, because there are obviously a lot of autistic people in the asexual community, and some of them have problems with concentration, some of them have problems with eye contact, some of them have problems with being on camera, some of them have problems with conversations on phones. And so you've got to bear that in mind. But if we're talking about the general population on traditional dating apps and sites, ones that are not asexual, there are still some autistic people on there, but there's also a lot of people that haven't got autism, and you want to know that the person's interested in you. Even someone who's autistic, if they are into someone, if they're like, say they're romantically into someone, they could get quite obsessed with that person. You got to be careful if that's healthy or not, because people who are autistic, they can get obsessions. And so they might actually become more interested in talking to you, and they might actually like regular talk time, because some people are autistic, they get into routines. They want to go to certain cafes at certain times in certain weeks. So it might work out in your favor if they've got like routines they like to do, and their focus, if it's a healthy way. So if you like a lot of contact and communication, you've got someone who's autistic that likes regular communication and contact, it's kind of a way of life for them, then that might actually really suit you well. And if they are obsessed with you in a good way, not a controlling way, but obsessed in us, oh, I just like their company so much. If you're an avoidant person, you'd probably hate that, because you're like, oh, I feel smothered, and it's not good because they're needy. But if you're if you're not avoidant, so that's avoidant would feel probably smothered and like it's too needy. But if you've got an anxious attachment style, like I have an anxious attachment style, and that person's autism meant that they wanted to be in contact and communication regularly with the person, became like a routine for them, that would be very good for someone like me, because it would be like, it would make me feel more secure. It make me feel like they're always going to be there for me. It make me feel like they cared for me. So some people with autistic traits could suit some other people with different traits. Like, I actually do get attracted to autistic guys. I get attracted to autistic guys. Not every single autistic guy, but I do get attracted to some, because a lot of autistic guys I find are very kind of like, they got like a childlike way about them, which is like a really young way, and I'm very young and vibrant and energetic, so that goes with that. Some autistic people can be very can have hyperness. I have natural hyperness. I haven't, I'm not autistic or ADHD, but I would suit, someone who's got ADHD. I would, because I'm naturally hyper person, then I would go well usually with that type of person. Depends on that, how the ADHD affects them. I know some people have got ADHD and they're very aggressive and get angry, which obviously is not good. You don't want that. So it depends, but I know some people who are autistic, they have a certain project and they're really into the project and they want to share that project with me, showing they care. This is friends as well. I'm thinking about a friend when I say this. So a friend might have a hobby and it's like their favorite hobby, and they want me to see their hobby. They want me to, my feedback on their hobby. They want me to take an interest in their hobby, because it's their way of showing they care about me, right? They might care about me even more than a friend, but not a full romantic person. And the way they show their care is by doing that. But obviously someone who's autistic, who is romantically attracted, might also do that. They want to share that. And because I love working on projects myself, I love working on writing stuff, I love working on different things and tasks myself. If someone's autistic, we could get on really well like that. And that can be a form of intimacy for me and them, because we're sharing projects and ideas together. I like doing that even with friends, though. I like sharing, like, I find it very motivational, very motivating when I say, oh, look, I'm doing this. And they say, oh, I'm doing this. I mean, even with my best friend, they love walking. They'll tell me I've been on a 16-mile walk today. I love it when they tell me, oh, I've been on this 16-mile walk and what they've done. Or I've done some tasks in the house and I've accomplished all this. And I'll be like, oh, I've done this, written, like, I've edited X amount of pages of my book today. I've done a live stream today. I've done a blog post, and I love that. I find it very motivational. It's a bit like having an accountability buddy, but without actually saying they're accountable. It's kind of just really nice because it's motivating when you're both into your own projects and things. He is autistic, actually. All three of my friends that I'm thinking of when I'm talking about this, they're all autistic. They're all on the autistic spectrum. So that's very interesting, isn't it? And I get on well with all of them, so it's really good. I have flowing conversations with them and stuff. So yeah, but my autistic friend, they pay me a lot of attention. Like when I'm talking to them, they're very focused on me, which is and even when they got their own problems and difficulties, they still want to help me with mine. And I'm like, I want to help them with theirs, even if I've got difficulties myself, because that's true friendship. You feel for the other person. A healthy person will have empathy for their friend, or even a relationship. If someone's got empathy, if you say you're unwell, they'll be like, I'm sorry to hear you're not well. I hope you get better soon. Someone who's not interested in you as a person doesn't really care. If you say you're ill, they'll be like, oh, right, okay. Like I've had guys on dating apps, right? I'll say they might be on the friendship tab, right? This has happened a number of times. They're on the friendship tab and they'll be like, oh, I want to meet you, which is not, straight away, that's usually a sign that they just want to hook up. They're not interested in friendship. They don't want to get to know me as a person. They just want to meet up. And I'll be like, I'm not feeling well at the moment. And they'll be like, oh, can you come on WhatsApp? And they've completely ignored what I've said about me not feeling well. I mean, I don't have WhatsApp. Oh, so can you like Snapchat me then? It's like I'm not doing Snapchat, and like, there's no care about my feelings. It's all about me connecting with them and chatting to them when I've told them I'm not well. If I've said I'm not well, a good guy will say, oh, I'm really sorry to hear that. I would love to talk to you when you're feeling better, or if you are happy to message me when you're feeling better, or if you want to text me still when you're not well, because I'm here for you. Because even if you just want to say you're unwell, then, I'm here for you if you want, but let me know when you're feeling better and then we can have a conversation, or we could have a video call or something when you're feeling well, like please message me that and this type of thing. But any guy who just avoids and ignores the fact I'm not well, it pees me off. They've not got my best interests at heart. All they care about is connecting with me, and it seems like they completely ignore the fact I'm not well. And they just think I can start phoning them and speaking to them, whatever, at a convenient time to them, I might add. Again, this is not a good, healthy friendship or relationship if you're only meeting up at a time when it's suitable to them, when it's convenient to them. I had an online Indian friend. Hello to him if he's watching. He watches this channel. And he was there for me the other day when I was really upset about the Indian guy in my city, and things didn't go well with that. And so I was having a bit of upset. And he happened to message me. I love Indian guys in the sense, usually an Indian guy is always there for me when I'm upset in some part of my life. It doesn't matter what scenario it is. It's like I get sent an Indian guy to chat to me, and it's really sweet. And anyway, he was like, how are you feeling? And I told him I'm feeling shit, right? Which I was, because I don't mince my words. I don't go around saying to everyone, I'm really happy at the moment. Like on dating sites and dating apps, if they say, oh, how are you doing? I'll say if I've had a hard day. And the reason I do that is on purpose, to be my true authentic self. If the guy can't handle the fact when I've said I've got a hard day, he ain't going to handle it down the line. He's just going to be shit if all he wants is the good bits of me where I say, oh yeah, everything's great, everything's fine, I'm so happy, I'm so joyous every single minute of the day. If I can't say to him, like, oh, actually, I had a difficult day today, or a difficult time, or, like this, I'm not so good with this. If I can't say that to him in the beginning and put that kind of like, it is a little bit more negative, you could argue. But if that's how I feel at the time, I'd rather do that and see if they're empathetic or sympathetic, or, their response. Because if their response is just complete ignorance and they don't want to talk to me in bad times, they only want to talk to me when they got the best of me, then I'm not interested, because I know I can't be my true authentic self with them, And someone who's like, if you're having a bad day, like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that, and then they might say something like, oh, I would love to still get to know you as a person, though, or something like this, you know what I mean? So yeah, if you're up for talking, or if you don't feel like talking, we can talk another day, this type of thing, you know? So always see what their responses are. Don't pretend to be something you're not. Because if you pretend to be something you're not, you're just setting yourself up to fail. You're having a standard which you completely can't meet all the time, you know. But obviously, if you're having a good day, you're having a good day, which is great. I do have good days, which is great. I'm gonna have more good days. But anyway, this Indian friend, who happened to be there for me, was having a shit time, right? He actually was in work, when he was messaging me still. And because I said to him, I said, "Are you in work now?" He's like, "Yeah." And he was doing technical support for like two different online like live events, which had 1,500 people, students attending it, right? And he was still messaging me. That shows that he cares. He genuinely cares about me as a friend, even though we've never met and he's in India and I'm in the UK. It shows that he has a degree of care about me. A guy who didn't give a toss, couldn't care less, didn't value me as a friend at all. He would just like be like not interested in talking to me at all when he worked. And some people might just be like, "Oh, I've got to go to work now. I can't talk to you." Or they might be, "I've got to go to work and I really want to carry on talking to you, but I'm really sorry I can't because I know you're not feeling. I know you're feeling upset at the moment. I wish I could be there for you." That would be like the second best thing. But he actually was still talking to me when he started work. And I'm like, wow, that's just amazing. That is someone who's a true friend true friend in the sense they care about me, in the sense that it was not convenient to them to talk to me. It was like they've got to manage all the stuff at work, plus they were still talking to me. So they were talking to me for a little while. And you know, because they were being really nice to me and saying, "Oh, you've got a heart of gold" and stuff like that. And I thought it was really sweet. And you know, like, "You're very caring, you got a heart of gold," and they were being so nice, and I really appreciated that, you know, because I know that it wasn't convenient to them. And guys, like, for example, who are looking to date or get into a relationship, if you find guys like this that just want you to phone them or have video calls and meet up with them when it's convenient to them, they don't really care about you. They're only looking for the connection in their own favor when it's convenient to them. They don't really genuinely care about you as a person. They might like you, they might be attracted to you, but it's not a genuine care because it's selfish. It's coming from a selfish point of view. Like, "Oh, if you can't meet me that time, I'm not going to make any plans to meet you another time because I'm not that bothered. Like, you can come along if you want or not come along." That's not somebody genuinely cares. Somebody genuinely cares is like, "I really want to spend some time with you. Like, when can we make this happen?" Like, and they will plan stuff. You know, like, I know some people are more spontaneous than others, but there has to be a degree of planning to have a healthy relationship. Like, everyone who's in a healthy relationship usually plans a date night. They'll have one night every week usually where it's just for them. Maybe it's only for a couple of hours, maybe it's for a whole evening, or maybe they'll spend a whole day together, but they've got that quality time together. They're always scheduling some quality time because they know that's how you have a healthy relationship. Some people in healthy relationships, they schedule time in to actually talk about problems in the relationship, like, how's the relationship going? How are you feeling? You know, is there anything you need to say? Is there anything we need to change, you know, to make it better? And so it's a team thing, it's a teamwork, team effort. And friendship is meant to be a team effort. It's not meant to be a solo activity because you may as well just spend time on your own. Right? So you have to look at the contrast as well between, are you happy being on your own, happier being on your own than when you're spending time with this person? If the answer is yes, this person's obviously clearly no good for you. Right? I mean, obviously introverts, they tend to like not like being around people so much in general, like you know, but if someone, even introverted friends, they still like some time with me, right? They might not like the same amount of time with me. They might not like being in certain crowds with me. They might need just one to one, like more on their own in a secluded, quieter place, but they're gonna still want to spend some time with me or see me or talk to me in some capacity, right? So you've got to think about all these things. Obviously, online, you've got introverts and extroverts, which is going to change the way that they think about a friendship a bit. Like, an extrovert will think more about, "Oh, I'm going out with this person. I want to go out to gigs and concerts and all this type of thing, comedy shows, maybe, and all this type of thing." Whereas a introvert might be thinking, "I just want them to come round to my place to watch a movie, hang out, have some popcorn or something." So when you're talking about friendships, you know, you can actually say, like, what would a friendship look like to you? Like, what would your ideal friendship look like? Like, what type of things do you, I've asked a question like on Facebook dating before, like, what type of things do you like to do with your friends? So I've got an idea of the type of things that that person likes to do with their other friends that they might possibly like to do with me. But be very careful of people who want you as a friend and they don't ever want to be seen with you on social media, but yet they have other friends that they're happy to be seen with on social media. I had someone who's meant to be a friend years ago, and he would post pictures of him and his other friends when he was out with them, right? At restaurants and all sorts of stuff. But I once said to him, "Oh, is it all right if I post this picture of when we met up, me and you?" And he's like, "No, I don't want that. Like, don't tag me in it. I don't want that." Like, and I'm like, okay. In the end, he kind of gave and said, "Well, you can put it, but don't tag me in it," or something. And I just didn't, because I thought, well, clearly this person doesn't want to be seen on social media. They're not really a genuine friend if they can have other people. So pay attention to how many rules they have for you and what they have for other people. It should be like the same rules for you as they have for other people, really. If they don't want to be seen with you on social media, but they're happy to be seen with their other friends, something's wrong. And this guy, uh, who I thought was my friend, at one point just completely stopped talking to me on Facebook. I didn't hear from him ever again, and they wouldn't respond to me. And they wouldn't even say to me that I don't want to be friends anymore. They wouldn't even tell me they were alive, because I think it was when COVID happened and I was really worried about them, that something might have happened. And I managed to get hold of one of their friends, and their friends are like, "Oh, it's fine. He's in Wales now." And I assume he got a girlfriend and just didn't want to know me. I don't know if that's because of my asexuality, actually, because the last time he met up with me was 2018, when I had the UK Asexuality conference that I was the speaker at. And me and my friend Martin met him. We met him in a Thai restaurant, but he traveled like really far. He was like, had a delay of about 45 minutes because one of the trains, I think it was, tubes or trains, was cancelled, and he lived quite a way away. So he traveled a long way. So I thought he genuinely cared about me. He gave me a voucher once, and I got top, like a hoodie, a silver hoodie hoodie zip up that I wore the other day, actually, that he actually gave me the voucher for that to buy. And so I thought he genuinely liked me as a friend, but the fact he just disappeared, it seems, when he got a girlfriend and didn't even want to talk to me ever again, was not like, he's obviously clearly wasn't a genuine friend, because you don't do that. I mean, and he obviously had other friends, because his other friend was the one who told me that he's fine, he's in Wales, he's very happy. You know, so it was like, I know you're not supposed to take these things personally, but obviously that was personal to me, when he can still have other friends, yet he doesn't want to speak to me anymore. But you know, when I knew he didn't want me on social media with him, I thought, that's weird. He was a person of color, I think is the correct terminology. So whether or not he didn't like it because I wasn't a person of color myself, or just because I'm asexual, I don't know. But it seems very bizarre that he would be with his people of color friends, and then with me didn't want to be seen with me. But obviously I'm asexual as well, so, and some people get weird about that. You know, like, "Oh, I don't want to be seen with an asexual person." So I don't know what it was, but obviously it's got nothing to do with me. It's some thing that he's got, you know? And so, yeah, so obviously I'm better off without that type of person. But it really hurt me, in terms of, like, I didn't expect that to happen. So it hurt me at the time, but I only just remembered that. I forgot about him, actually, which is a good thing, right? But I'm just trying to say these type of things to you. You know, if they're a genuine friend, they should want to accept you for who you are. Like, if they genuinely want to be friends with you, they shouldn't have a problem with your asexuality. And I can often tell if a guy's got a problem with my asexuality, because they won't friend me on Facebook. They'll talk to me in Facebook Messenger, but they won't connect with me as a friend on Facebook itself. That is usually the fact that they're hiding stuff. They really want a relationship with me. They want to hook up with me, and they don't want anything serious, and they don't want to be connected to me on Facebook, because, like, oh my god, she's actually a famous YouTuber. She's got a book out. She helps asexual. She's well known. I don't want people to know that I'm connected to her. So I won't be connected to her on Facebook. I'll just use her in Messenger. Use her in Messenger, basically, and I'll chat and talk about meeting up and stuff, because they don't want something genuine. They don't want you to see all their profile, unless they got their profile on public, you know, and it's open, you know, and they don't care so much. But again, usually someone who really likes someone would want to connect with them as a friend on Facebook. They'd send them a friend request, usually, or attempt to send it. And if they couldn't send it, they'd be like, "Oh, I can't send it for some reason," you know? So watch out for that. I've had that quite a few times on Facebook dating. Some guys connect with me on Facebook and others don't. Obviously, if it doesn't work out, we can delete each other off Facebook friends or block each other, you know, which sometimes you have to do. Sometimes you just like unfriend them, you know, if it's parted in good terms, like we're just not suitable for each other. If I've got some guys like, oh, I want to meet up with you, like, and it's pressurizing me to hook up for sex, basically, then I'll just block the guy. So, you know, but I like it when I can see a guy's Facebook profile. I had someone the other day and I'm like, well, you've locked your profile. Like if you he's like, oh, we can like have we can like he was on about meeting up and then I said I wouldn't meet up without a video call. And he's like, oh, well, if you trust me, we can like have a call like the next day. I'm like, I don't trust the guy, or I don't know if I can trust the guy if he's locked his Facebook profile and I can't see it. And he didn't respond the next day or the day after, and I wasn't bothered about him anyway, because I thought, you know, if you're not open about your Facebook profile, you don't want me to see it, which you could easily friend request me and unlock your profile for me, then you don't really like me that much. You just want to hook up for sex, basically. So you've got to look at all these types of things that are going on, right? You've got to look, does the conversation start off as friendship, like talk about hobbies and interests, and then it goes towards like, oh, so what you were looking for in a relationship? Or they then start saying, oh, but you're cute, or oh, they start sending you love hearts, they start sending you rose emojis. That's not someone who just wants friendship, right? That's someone who, like, you know, who likes you more. There was a guy on Badoo, and he was on people nearby 30 miles away, but when I actually messaged him, he lives in Tunisia. He isn't even in this country. He's lying, right? So a guy who's lying about that will be lying about a lot of other things. And I just said to him, I'm looking for someone in my country, so he wouldn't be suitable. He then sends me the message back going, let's get to know each other. Again, completely ignores what I said about the fact I'm looking for a guy already in the UK. I'm not interested. Wish you the best. They can't accept it. They're coming back with, oh, I still want to get to know you. Why do they want to get to know you in that scenario? Because they want someone that's in the UK that they can get a visa off of, or they can make romantic connection with, so that you are, oh, I've got to see this person. I must have this person come on, or an online relationship. You've got to understand there's quite a lot of heterosexuals who will be happy to have an online connection with you for their own personal gain, right? This is an emotional connection, maybe while they're having sex with other women. This is with a view to possibly having sex with you, so they're warming you up and laying the foundation for that. They're hooking you emotionally into them. Just don't bother with these type of people. A lot of the time, just don't bother. Don't be, you know, if someone's if it doesn't work out for a relationship, right? Say it's very early on, you've had some chatter, and you realize it's got to the stage where within 24 hours or a week, they're already implying they want a relationship with you, right? If you don't want a relationship with them, it's better to part ways. And if they say, oh, well, we can still be friends, don't do that, because you could do that, end up doing that with hundreds of people. Like, I get loads of guys go, oh, but we can still be friends, can't we? I'm like, no, because I do not want to put my time, energy, and effort into a friendship with them when there's only a limited amount of time, energy, effort I've got in my life, which I need to plow into other people, and people who genuinely either want a friendship from the off, a real friendship, or they actually want a romantic relationship with me. I don't have an infinite amount of hours. I only have a certain amount of hours, and my time's very precious. And so, like, you know what I mean? If I'm spending like time talking to different guys online trying to be their friends, they're not genuine friends anyway. A lot of them, they just using you. They're using you temporarily until they find someone else. They're just using you because they're you know they're lonely at the moment. The amount of guys on Facebook dating during COVID because they're lonely, and they would chat to you in COVID, and then when they get back to into their workplace, they don't want to speak to you anymore. It's because all they were doing is they were lonely and they were bored. And, you know, and people are in survival mode during COVID. I mean, a lot of people are still in survival mode anyway, if they've had bad relationships, abuse, and childhood trauma, right? And a person who's in survival mode will be thinking more of themselves. They will not be thinking of the other person. So you always want to find out, like, what type of mindset they're in at the moment, like, you know, like, what's going on for you in your life at the moment, like, what brought you to the dating, why are you looking for just a friend? I'm curious to know, like, a heterosexual, like, why is a heterosexual person just looking for a friend? I know that might seem weird. It's like, well, heterosexuals of course can just have friends. It's not just asexuals that can have that, but heterosexuals by and large are motivated and geared towards connections through sexual attraction in the main. And so it's more unusual for them to just be looking for friends on a dating website. They were looking for friends. Why aren't they making friends with their work colleagues? Why aren't they making friends with people down the pub? Why are they coming specifically on a dating site to make friends? Right? Because a lot of them aren't really looking for just friendship. Or if they are, it's for a place, they're coming from a place of lack, of brokenness and avoidance. Not all of them, I'm not saying all of them, right? But the majority. Like, I'm primarily looking for a relationship on dating sites and dating apps. I'm primarily looking for a relationship when I go out and talk to guys. It's, I'm primarily having that in my head, right? I would like to have some more friends in my city, but if my hyper romanticism is just too much to do that, then I'll better off stay single, go out and just socialize with people from the meetup.com group, for example, who are more like acquaintance socializing friends there, and so that's going to be better for me. So it's very difficult because I'm hyper romantic, and I don't tend to usually make friends with women. It's usually always guys. Nearly all my friends are guys. I was gonna say nearly all my guys are friends, which they are, but nearly all my friends are guys, right? I tend to get on much better with guys. It's been like this for years. But then I have attraction for guys. So it's always hard because it's hard for me to just be friends with a guy or just have friendship feelings. It doesn't really happen very often. Obviously, if the guy's older or near my birth certificate, that's more likely I can just be friends with him. But even then, if I develop an emotional connection to that person and they've not got a beard and they look younger, then that's harder for me as well. Because I can be attracted to someone who I get an emotional connection with that I wasn't attracted to before because of the emotional connection, the emotional intimacy. So always bear in mind, like I said earlier on in this video, that a lot of people's relationships are first based on a friendship. So it might be that you become friends with someone and then you end up in a relationship with them anyhow. But it might be that they have that in their head from the beginning. So you have to question them, like why are you on this dating app looking for friendship? Tell me your story. Like, tell me why that is. Like, why are you just looking for a friendship? Like, what type of qualities do you look for in a friendship? Like, do you see yourself staying in this country or are you going to another country? Ask these questions to find out whether they're interested genuinely in bringing you a friend and whether they're going to stick around or not. If you're just if some people are just over here for like a tourist visa, and they might even want to be a friend with you, just hang out and travel with while they're over here, and someone to show the sights. There's quite a lot of Indian guys that do a lot of traveling, and they just literally want someone to hang out with to show them the sights of like the UK and stuff like that. It's quite common. It wouldn't surprise me though if still some of them weren't up for friends with benefits as well. But some of them genuinely do want a girl to show them around. But why a girl? Why a girl? Why not find a guy for friendship on a dating app if they're really looking for just friendship to show them around because they want a girl to do it? So I would question, like, their motive. Like, is it true friendship? You want a girl to do that, or do you want a girl to show you around places so maybe you can have a relationship with her? It's probably a bit more accurate. But anyway, you can find out, like, ask them, like I said, about all these questions. Ask them, like, what are they planning to stay in your country or what's their long term vision? Where would they want to settle? Because personally, for me, I only want to develop friendships that are going somewhere or long lasting. I don't do casual relationships. I'm not really into casual friendships. I'd rather have a handful of really high quality friends and people I can trust and rely and feel secure with than a bunch of people that I don't really know or not seeing that much. Of course I have like acquaintance friends. Of course I have like majority of them in terms of closeness, in terms of really genuinely caring about me. They care about me to a degree, but not to the degree like if something happened to me, they'd be worried about it. You know what I mean? Like if something happened, like they might not notice in their life so much. I mean, of course they notice if I put it on Facebook, but some people notice more than others. But I do like people online. I have got some people who do care about me online. They care about my well-being and health, but it's not the same as in person. Like, I think it's always good to find out as well, do you want in-person friends or do you just want online? Because personally, if I'm making friends on a dating app or dating site, I still want to see the guy in person. I want to be able to spend some time with that person, meeting up and having some quality time with them, doing things together. For me, that's the whole point of a good close friendship, is to actually go out and do activities together, not just have an online friendship. But obviously, if someone's in another country, then I can just have an online friendship with them unless they actually come over here and visit me. I would say vice versa, but I don't fly on a plane, so that's out of the question. But like, you could have video calls, audio calls, and that type of thing. So always ask questions, ask friendship questions, see what they actually say, what comes back, because you want someone who's thought about a friendship. You want someone who knows what qualities a friendship is. You want to know someone who has other friends, like what do they do with their other friends. So you want to come at it from a friendship point of view. And, you know, that way you should be able to tell more or less whether they're actually genuine, that they want a friendship connection with you or not. So always bear these things in mind and take stock of how much time, energy, and effort you're putting into the connection with the person versus what they're doing with you. If it's very unequal most of the time, then it's not going to be a good, healthy friendship or connection for you. It's just going to make you feel insecure with the person, because you're just going to be thinking, are they going to leave me? Are they genuine care about me? Do they want me in their life? Whereas a true friendship shouldn't be like that. It should be like, yeah, I value you, you'll value me, we want to see each other sometimes. You know what I mean? So always bear all this stuff in mind. Get the backstory of why they're just interested in friendship and nothing more, or are they interested in something more? Know that the Facebook friendship tab is usually used by guys who actually don't want just friendship. The majority of the time, they want actually a relationship. They, you know, I mean, I might send a friend like connection, like on Facebook dating, and it's very plain and clear within a short space of time that that person's thinking about more than friendship. Because they will then start talking about like meeting up with me really quickly. They'll start saying stuff about my appearance, or they'll start saying stuff in more of a romantic way, more of an attraction way. So bear that in mind. I hope you found this video useful, helpful, insightful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an episode, and grab your copy on Asexual Perspectives. Love, Life and Sex, A Celebration of Asexual Diversity. There's 47 stories in here. This is a best-selling book on Amazon. Go and grab your copy now, and then you can discover what it's like to have love, life, relationships from a friendship point of view with the asexual aromantics there. So some people talk about friendship in here. Some people talk about relationships in here. Love, life, and sex. There we go. Go and grab a copy now from Amazon. And don't forget to grab a copy of my autobiographical fibromyalgia self-help handbook. And I'll see you on the next video or live stream. Lots of love to you. Take care. If you've got any comments or questions, post them down below. And I'll see you soon. Bye.